By education, I'm a philosopher.
Oh,
So
interesting. Super interesting.
extremely useful.
Yeah.
And then by profession, I'm a software test engineer. So I mostly test software, test programs, mostly telephony these days,
Uh,
which is very technical, but doesn't really have much in terms of game development. And my game development journey kind of happened alongside the software testing while I was really trying to learn how to code. And I was thinking, how on earth do I learn? Not really, just need some kind of a project probably to
mhm.
learn how to code properly with some motivation. And it wasn't Gunwire that came out of that. It was a much earlier project of mine, which was Dungeon Like, a kind of a proper traditional roguelike, grid-based, turn-based.
Did you launch that one
With
on itch.io, or where can people have seen that?
yeah. So that's
Cool.
been on HIO for years now. I think I stopped working on it in 2019,
Hmm.
and it's been there since, and it still sometimes even gets some downloads, some views without
Cool.
any kind of marketing on my end. The game just kind of lives on, although it's not super popular by no means.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that people come across it from time to time and still download my training pet project in a way it still exists there. And
Mhm.
in a way, the fact that it still exists there was a bit of an inspiration for Gunwire itself, because in the meantime, let's say Dungeon Like eventually died a death of me burning out and realizing that game of that kind of size just outgrew my capability of maintaining and expanding it further. It just got very very large. I was trying to do crazy stuff in there, and that taught me a lot about scoping. Then I made a horrible mistake of not backing up my stuff for a couple of, let's say, weeks. And
Mhm.
when my old laptop fried and my hard drive fried, I unfortunately was left with a couple of weeks of work that were never committed properly. It was a very very big lesson in version control. And that was the day when I was like, well, I've had enough. Let's drop it for now.
Mhm.
Then I started working on a mobile game instead, which also had its ups and downs, no longer with source control. But let's say that after working with that title, I kind of learned that mobile games are not exactly my forte.
Yeah.
Um, but that was a while later. And then I looked back seeing, well, on HIO, I still have this dungeon like this roguelike. It's still there. Nothing happened to it. It's thriving. I don't have to worry about Android API updates or anything like that. Like you
Yeah,
have to on
yeah,
mobile
yeah.
if
No,
to really keep
yeah.
up.
It's is awesome. There's a
Yeah,
dedicated
it's a
like
brilliant platform.
the people that are willing to play the games are these cool, guys that seek out indie stuff and all the headaches of mobile, all their APIs, both Android and iOS is such a headache.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
absolutely. And
so
and when the
I totally
monetization
understand.
scheme yeah, when the monetization laws change in some country and you have to look at whatever terms of service and update a bunch of stuff, it's a bit of a pain. So I looked at it. I was like, why wouldn't I just go back to what I know works well and publish a game on itch as I did with the previous one, but this time just don't go overkill on the scope and kind of know my strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so so that's why Gunwire is a top-down shooter and not like grand strategy. It's meant to be a game that's fundamentally mechanically rather simple. But what I want to get out of it eventually is I want it to be a title which has a lot of interesting synergistic mechanics. So it's a horde shooter, of course, but it's not going to be, let's say, a Vampire Survivors clone or anything like that. It's going to be always a game where the player skill is very very important, player agency is very important. So even currently, you said to say how to play the game and kind of input that kind of stuff. It's primarily at the moment the game is playable on keyboard, and you just move with WSAD.
Mhm.
You have your dash under your space bar, and then with mouse you control your aim. You can, at the moment on the official version, you can throw a grenade with right mouse button, and you can of course shoot with left mouse button. That's pretty much it. So it's movement, dash, grenade, shooting, and aim. Um, since I've decided that, well, the game should probably support gamepad or controllers, I
Yeah.
have moved a little bit away from the grenade, because a grenade that you pinpoint on the screen with a mouse is great, but with a controller, you don't really have that freedom of
Mhm.
kind of movement of the cursor. So I've backtracked on the grenade. Now it's a rocket launcher. Totally different thing.
Yeah.
But but that drives creativity as well. When I have a rocket launcher, it's a game of perks. You progress through the waves of enemies. You get stronger. So I figured, okay, if I have a rocket launcher, let's do Quake 3 Arena. Let's do rocket jump, right? So I added a perk which allows you to dash in the opposite direction every time you shoot the rocket. So it's an optional perk. And it effectively gives you a free dash. And if you're building your entire character around dashes, which you could do with another perk, it's called Ride the Lightning. That's Metallica. But Ride the Lightning is a perk that makes your dash deal end damage to enemies, and if you level it up, it actually even creates like a lightning explosion at the end. So with that, you want to have as many dashes as possible. So a decision of input led to a change in some of the design, which gave me a perk which builds into an existing mechanic.